Hey everyone, it's Badger here narrating another video for Vadim. Today we're going to talk about some interesting facts around GTA San Andreas. Starring special guest Abi Vermai, who back in the day was the technical director at Rockstar North. He was very kind in commenting on some facts in this video and making them even more interesting. Be sure to follow him on Twitter because he's been posting a lot of GTA trivia lately. So without any further ado, let's start the first act of this video. Do you know what the Tornado and the Hydra have in common? Zenarchy found out that they both have the same switch that activates aircraft weapons. But here's the thing, the Tornado's weapons remain inactive because the function, which processes aircraft weaponry in the code, requires it to be either a plane or a helicopter. If you want to see these weapons in action, you can either define the Tornado to be a plane in the game files, or you can just lift this restriction in the code so it can stay a car. No matter how you do it, the Tornado will be able to fire unguided rockets. These have a high rate of fire, ideal for engaging against multiple targets, and you have to be extremely cautious firing these bad boys. There's a very high chance that you'll just blow yourself up if you hit something too close. But there aren't just rockets. There's also a very powerful chain gun in the front that can destroy anything in its range within seconds. Hey, we'll take that too. If that reminds you of the Hunter's weaponry, then you are absolutely right in thinking that. It basically shares the same arsenal, but the Tornado's weapon configurations are actually fully custom, and they're stored in the code separately. Need more proof that this arsenal was meant for the Tornado? The place where these projectiles are coming from is internally called Tornado Gun Position. That can't be a coincidence. On the other hand, it doesn't make any sense why this car would have hidden aircraft weapons on board, so I asked Abi if he could share some light on this. Here's what he said.
I don't think the intention was for the Tornado car to have weaponry. I think the Tornado should not be in that switch statement with Hydra. Perhaps there was a fighter jet called Tornado before there was a car called Tornado. I can't quite remember.
And you know what? It definitely makes more sense now. There is indeed the Panavia Tornado fighter jet in real life, as Abe later mentioned too. As a result, it perfectly explains why the Hydra and the Tornado share the same switch, not to mention they share the same code for the joystick vibration too. Apparently, both were fighter jets at some point during development, but then the Tornado became a car and they reused the vehicle ID, which made these weapons inactive. The rest is a mystery. Do you know what the most pointless stat in the entire game is? Without a doubt, it would be the luck stat under the player section, which to this day is still driving a lot of people crazy. You start the story mode by having your luck set to 0, and the only way to increase this stat is to pick up these hidden horseshoes around Las Venturas. There are 50 in total, each increasing Carl's luck by 20, meaning you can maximize this stat up to 1,000. But the question remains, does it really make Carl luckier in some way? Despite very strong beliefs in the community, as proven by the game's code, luck does absolutely nothing in the game. The stat is just for show. Yeah, it's absurd, I know. So I asked Abe about this, and he said,
The idea initially was that the player's luck would affect some of the casino games we would be having in Las Venturas, roulette, card games, etc. We never ended up using the luck stat in the end.
He also said that the code I showed was actually written by him, so he was the right person to ask this question. You know what's funny? This is what the GTA community always speculated that the stat actually did. And as stupid as it sounds, some even thought that having more luck also reduced the chances of planes crashing into Carl, which now is 100% debunked. While we're on the subject, Abe also said that some believe that a horseshoe with the open end at the top brings luck, whereas the ones that are upside down don't. This is how we see that in the game. Neat. Some of the things in this game are only there to freak you out. Have you ever wondered why sometimes you hear weird explosions when you're passing by Fort Carson? Some of you might even find the source of the explosions. Here's why this happens. These explosions are caused by a bugged car generator spawning the Beagle in the driveway of this house. When spawned, the plane simply gets stuck with one of its wings in the horizontal stabilizer inside the house, which of course deals damage to it and eventually causes an explosion. And you don't see its wreckage because the game always immediately unloads it as it conflicts with the house, and it creates another issue. Sometimes these explosions appear in very random places around town. It's always surprising to experience one. And lastly, if you stand at the right place, you'll see this plane exploding over and over again. I wonder if people thought this town was cursed. But the plane doesn't always explode. Rarely it can be pushed away from the house and it'll stay in a weird position waiting for you to steal it and fly away. But either way, don't you think it's kinda strange for the plane to appear here to begin with? It definitely is. A Spanish GTA YouTuber by the name of Detention made a good point, saying that it was probably supposed to be a bicycle that spawns here, which fits perfectly. You see, there are two parked bicycles in Fort Carson spawning very close to a house. One uses vehicle ID 509, while another uses vehicle ID 510. The Beagle is vehicle ID 511, a very close number to those bicycles. The evidence is crystal clear. A simple typo in the car generator causes chaos in this small desert town. Fun fact, there is no such car generator in the original Xbox version of the game. It seems to have been fixed by the team responsible for porting this game to that platform, which perfectly lines up with what Abe once said about platform-exclusive bugs and fixes. Don't you just love strange theories in the GTA community? There was always a strong belief in the community that Alcatraz was once present in San Andreas, but got taken out before the game came out. On an early map render, we can even see an island near the Gant Bridge, some distance offshore from a pier in San Fierro. And what do we have in roughly the same location in the San Francisco Bay in real life? Alcatraz Island. The evidence speaks for itself, as they say. While people aren't right that no such island from the early map render is present in the game anymore, we can prove that Alcatraz was never planned to be in the game to begin with. Once upon a time, when the game was still in development, PSM2 magazine had a chance to ask several questions to Rockstar's PR chief, Jeff Castaneda. And one of them was, will Alcatraz be a part of San Fierro? To which he replied,
Not sure yet. We haven't seen it. We're not sure whether we're going to put it in the game.
And that basically explains everything. According to a lot of sources, one of the most important phases for Rockstar North during the game's development was location scouting, which included visiting real-life places and taking pictures of everything, and absorbing as much as they could to try to recreate it in the game. Since Jeff confirmed that Alcatraz wasn't in their trip list, then from the beginning, Rockstar most likely didn't have any plans to put it in the game. And since this magazine issue came very late in development, it was very unlikely for them to suddenly change their plans to include Alcatraz for whatever reason. As some might say, that myth is busted. As for the Cut Island, well, it looks like a completely empty and sandy spot in this early render. Judging from its size and location, it could be loosely based on Angel Island, the largest natural island in the San Francisco Bay. I bet they got rid of it when they came up with Bayside. As you can see from another early render, it was a late addition to the game, with that empty land already being gone. And now let's talk about something really funny. After GTA San Andreas finally hit stores at the end of October of 2004, 4 days later there was already a rumor spreading like a wildfire that Bigfoot was roaming in the woods in the game. Knowing almost nothing about the game, but seeing what vaguely looked like the shape of a footprint on the map, people were excited enough to go on an adventure, wasting their time looking for a non-existent mythical creature. And you know what? They wasted so much time poking around the empty woods that after a while, CJ would get hungry. And when he's hungry, his stomach rumbles, which sounds like this. These sounds freaked people out. They assumed that the growling was in fact Bigfoot, and they were thrilled because they thought they were finally getting close. They were all just walking around in circles thinking they were following the trail of a Sasquatch without even realizing that CJ just needed to eat. And these stories are real. Some later realized that they were fooled by the game, and they shared their funny stories about their past experience. I noticed that even Abe was impressed by this, because when GTA Base asked him about the famous Bigfoot myth, he shared the gimmick with the stomach but nothing else. But before that, he also wrote about it in his deleted blog. So I decided to ask him how he figured that out and what he thinks about it. Here's what he said.
I didn't figure out the stomach rumbling thing until after I left the company. I watch videos about the trilogy sometimes for nostalgia's sake, and somebody mentioned it. It made perfect sense though. It made me chuckle then.
As Rockstar co-founder Terry Donovan said in 2005 to EGM magazine,
"There's no Bigfoot, just like in real life."
And despite the official confirmation, people were still hopelessly searching for it in the game. Some stories just won't die, it seems. There's yet another ongoing debate in the community about whether off-road wheels are actually giving your car's traction a boost, or if they're just there for looks. Rockstar always told journalists that apart from adding Nitro, the customization options at Transfender are purely cosmetic, and they do nothing to affect performance. Or do they? It would appear that they actually do. Judging from the in-game code, the off-road wheels actually boost traction by 15% on various off-road surfaces, which makes them not as useless as they look. The special handling flag is called Off-Road Abilities, and it's activated when these wheels are installed at Transfender. You won't see any obvious differences in the grip it has on the road before or after modding the car, because 15% is a relatively small improvement. So let's boost this up to 400%. Now the car handles even better off-road, proving the existence of this multiplier in the code. As soon as I change the wheels to something else, the bonus disappears and the car goes into a skid. I bet this is why the sound van you gotta jack for OG Loke during the mission Life's a Beach has these wheels pre-installed. And it was definitely something that they added very late to the mission. Before, the van used to have another set of wheels similar to the Mega option. I wonder if they came up with the off-road tires while they were making this mission just to make it easier to drive on sand. But there's a huge catch with this bonus. These wheels won't have any effect if the vehicle you're putting them on already has the Off-Road Abilities handling flag by default. The same goes for vehicles having the Off-Road Abilities ×2 flag by default. Despite the fact that it's a separate flag that boosts traction by 40%, the wheels don't increase traction any further. Speaking about other Transfender upgrades, remember how Rockstar loved to do closed sessions with gaming journalists to do presentations on an upcoming game? The PlayStation Extreme magazine crew was one of the groups chosen to take part in this, and they revealed a unique detail about the Nitro upgrade in their pre-release article. One of many new graphic effects we were shown is a new blurring effect, which created a heightened sense of speed when using nitrous oxide, although at the moment Rockstar is not 100% sure whether or not it will end up in the final game. Today, it would be very hard to imagine the Nitro system without the blur effect, but for some reason, Rockstar thought about removing it at one point. When asked about it, Abe said he didn't remember anything about the issue, adding that the GFX guys were constantly experimenting with new effects. Maybe something about it didn't look right at the time, and Rockstar probably just made an excuse for it in front of the journalists. Or maybe it made everyone in the room dizzy or something. Either way, it stayed in the game, meaning whatever issue they had with it was solved. Now it's time to talk about relationships. Have you ever seen the stupid progress bar regressions with your girlfriends? Don't you just hate seeing that, even when you treat them right? Well, Theo TTG, a respected member in the GTA community, had finally put this mystery to rest, and according to him, this is a bug. Occasionally, a girlfriend might call CJ and ask him to go on a date.
Hey, it's Barbara! Get over here and let's do something!
If you answer the phone, a date is made. But if you just ignore the call, you're going to be punished with a decrease in your relationship status, and this relates to our problem. The dating script sadly doesn't check if the player is actually available to receive a phone call, meaning that if you're on a mission, sitting in a vehicle, swimming in the ocean, or doing something else where the phone script would normally terminate and try again later, the dating script initiates a call. And if that call happens when the game doesn't let the phone ring, the cell phone script immediately terminates, and the dating script thinks that you ignored the caller. You are literally getting punished for nothing. This is why you see these random decreases in relationship status from time to time. Most of the time, when they decide to call you, you're just doing something that doesn't even let you pick up. Thanks to that, you're probably not even going to hear a breakup call either. Yeah, that's right. When you have a relationship at an extremely low level, your girlfriend is supposed to call you and dump you over the phone. Almost all GTA fans thought that these calls were cut from the game, but they're not. Girlfriends inform you about the breakup over the phone only once, and you just have to be very lucky to not be busy during that time. This is why you are always doomed for an in-person breakup next time you try to start a date. And what can you say about that? I personally thought that the game was punishing us for forgetting about them. Maybe the testers thought the same and this is why it was never noticed by Rockstar. Seems plausible. You know it's always fun to discover? Rockstar's magic and little tricks they use to develop missions. Let's talk about one that was found in the final Quarry mission, involving this exact police motorcycle. To remind you, first we need to push it into the marked area. Then you load it into the dumper with a crane. And then you dump the motorbike and its owner into the water nearby. Despite the fact that this cop bike acts and feels like a prop, it isn't. Let's explain what tricks Rockstar used to achieve it. While the screen is fading out, it's smacked against the ground, having a damage proof. As the developer explained in the leaked mission sources, it's dropped from a height so that it doesn't appear standing when you first find it. The mission also prohibits CJ from getting onto it and driving it, meaning that it will always be laying on the ground, which is clever. And the best part is, every single cycle, this bike gets 10,000 health points. This is why you can't destroy it, not even with a minigun. The mission fixes it much faster than you can deal damage to it. As the developers explained, this was done to make it stay intact so that you could lift it with a crane. Very clever. There actually is a trick to destroy it though. Just throw tons of satchel charges on it and detonate them all at once. Boom, you managed to blow it up. So now what? Well, congratulations, you just soft-locked the mission. The bike can't be lifted by the crane anymore, so there's no way to put it into the dumper. At the same time, the mission is still going. It seems like the developers really thought that it was indestructible, and they didn't code a mission failure for that occasion. Never underestimate a fool. Now it's time to restart the mission and try again. If you're going for 100% completion in this game, then you will definitely be doing the import-export side mission, delivering all the cars that they want on this chalkboard. But don't forget, we can also buy cars from them with the chance of them being delivered with a rare or goofy license plate, featuring an Easter egg or a reference to something. Any car can end up with a plate referencing Zinedine Zidane, the French soccer player. You can also end up with a Ballista Compact having a Disco Stew plate, you know, the character from The Simpsons. There are a ton of plates like these. What you might not have known is that the Day 1 PlayStation 2 version has 7 more plates, which were presumably cut from later versions of the game. The first car on the list is the Bullet, which lost 2 unique plates, EA sucks and FU. We know that Rockstar can easily mock other franchises by putting silly references in their game, but directly calling out a company like Electronic Arts? That's a little spicy. As for the second plate, well, I have no clue why they took that out. Looks like typical Rockstar humor. Wonder why it was later cut. The Jester lost 3 unique plates: Groin, G-Man, and probably Suave. It really bugs me why these were later scrapped. There's literally nothing controversial about them. And I wonder if G-Man is a reference to Half-Life 2, which back then was released 3 weeks after San Andreas. Finally, we have the Feltzer, which lost 2 plates, General Practitioner Payroll, and whatever this Dr. F is. If you know how to decipher it, leave a comment below. If you enjoy watching videos about GTA, don't forget to check out my channel here on YouTube, BadgerGoodger. And also, don't forget to follow both Vadim and myself on Twitter. This has been Badger narrating for Vadim, and I hope you have a great rest of your day out there.
Pleasure to meet you.